He calls that a VIX peak, says that equals a market bottom. Do you agree?
I agree that technology is likely to see some challenges going forward throughout the year. I do think that today is a little bit of an anomaly, seeing the NASDAQ so strong. What happened is the market got confused by the softer retail sales and thought, oh, maybe inflation isn't going to be a huge problem in the immediate term, so we can still buy technology, we can buy those high growth stocks. I don't know that that was a peak in the VIX. I don't know that that's going to be the 2021 peak in the VIX. I think that we're going to have a rough transition as we hand the baton from policy back to fundamentals, and we try to figure out whether or not stocks can stand on their own 2 feet. But I think that there's opportunity here. And as we look at a lot of the different industry groups that have gotten beaten up, I still think there's opportunity in them. And a lot of that was a buying opportunity.
Okay. Pete Kalanovic, JP Morgan's Marco Kalanovic, came on this program a couple days ago, said selling's overdone, says the bottom's close. He thinks that's over. I mentioned a big fund manager I spoke with who dramatically took up his exposure in stocks Wednesday towards the close in the big sell-off, okay? Do you think, as Tom Lee says, the bottom is in?
I don't know necessarily, Scott, that I think the bottom is in, but certainly, you know, and Tom also referred to the volatility. I don't know that the top is in on volatility either, Scott. I think we have a lot of different elements to this marketplace that certainly could continue to be very, very volatile, especially as we're dealing with all the different inflation measures that we're all keeping an eye on. We're watching copper, we're watching steel, we're watching crude, you name it, we're keeping a very close eye on just about everything that goes into it, including labor costs. So there are a lot of different elements, I think, that could cause some jerks here and there to the upside and to the downside in terms of volatility. But are we at a bottom? I don't know that we're necessarily at a bottom. That was a pretty brief pullback if you consider just a couple of days. But I do think, and I agree, I think that's an opportunity. And each and every time that we see these kind of pullbacks like we've seen, I think we have to view those as an opportunity because I think overall we are in a very solid market. The government obviously backing us up pretty nicely with all the stimulus. And the Fed, I think there's a lot of combinations that make sense on why this is a market that can be bought on a lot of these sell-offs. As a matter of fact, I used this opportunity to buy quite a few different, but options, not stocks, because of the fact that I don't feel all that confident that I was looking at bottoms just the other day, and suddenly we're actually moving to the upside. Well, I actually wouldn't be surprised to see us see some more severe drops to the downside.
It's not like you're just buying anything either, Pete. You bought Snowflake calls. I mean, you went right to the heart of the sell-off and bought calls in Snowflake, which, by the way, gets an upgrade today at Goldman Sachs, which I thought was interesting, just as a statement, perhaps, of the overall market as to whether stocks like that have come down too far. I mean, it's corrected 34%, Pete, and you have called out these stocks.
Well, not only that,
you've
Scott,
called
but
out
let's just
the
think
high
about
multiple.
The fact that this is a stock that was $429, and then it's just come down and down and down, and it was very close to the most recent lows. It was trading about 196 this morning, and we saw some unusual option activity in there. So that's what helped trigger me to decide, you know what? I know the valuation levels is in a position where we really don't know at what point in time where we're going to see the actual numbers reflect something of a PE. But what we do know is this is an unbelievable company. It probably was way over bought when we got to some of those 400-plus levels, even the 300-plus levels. But I think you can trade it. I don't know necessarily that you want to be buying the stock right now, right here. But I think at the same time, the trading opportunities that the option world has given us really do reflect something that gives you an opportunity, especially if there's any continuation of what we have seen, at least today, in this nice little move that we're seeing to the upside. We were just trading 194. Then we saw buyers at 196. Last I looked, the stock was trading, I don't know where it is right this moment, but it was trading about 204. So I think that there's a lot of reasons and a lot of different names like this where I think from the options perspective, at least you have a risk reward that makes some sense, because buying the stock, I'm not so sure that that part of it, for me at least, makes sense.
Okay.